How's it going, everyone? It is me, aLone Vault Wanderer, and welcome to the pilot episode of the aLone cast. This is a series that I've wanted to do for a while because, as you would know on my YouTube channel, I cover a very particular subset of video game news. Whether it's things relating to Fallout or Bioshock or Borderlands, I never really cover any other news. There are some exceptions, you know, sometimes I'll do some Destiny news and sometimes I'll do some other news, but I'm even struggling thinking of what else I cover on my channel because there's not much else aside from those three games that I mentioned before. But I do want to talk about other pieces of gaming news that interest me because I read a lot of articles each and every day. And I just want to ramble about it on my channel in like a, I guess, 20 to 30 minute mini podcast, if you will. So this is what this series is going to be about. However, it is a pilot at this stage. I want to gauge feedback and your thoughts on this series. Do you want to see it continue? Is this something that you'd actually watch on a frequent basis? If it is, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this series and like this video, please like this video. It would be really appreciated. And with that out of the way, I guess we can get into it. All the topics that I'm going to be talking about today are listed on the screen right now. There'll be about 3 topics, and also we have a 4th segment where we just answer some fan questions that I gathered on Twitter. I think it was a couple weeks back because I was first going to do this first episode several weeks ago, but I stalled. I couldn't record. I mean, it's so hard doing videos like this because I want to just record without stumbling and without stopping and starting and do all the editing with my voice. I just want to go through it and fucking blast it out. But I stumble a lot. I really do. And that shit has to get edited out of my regular videos. So I'm going to try and push through, and of course I'll get better as time goes on as I do more of these videos, if I do more of these videos, mind you. So yes, please let me know your thoughts about this series in the comments below. And now let's get into the first news topic, which is all about Xbox One at Gamescom 2017. Of course, Microsoft held their press conference at Gamescom, and they announced a bunch of different pieces of news. I'll run through the list right now, but you can find it plastered all over the internet. I know GameSpot has a great article that kind of consolidates all the news, but I'll list the main points. So the first one being that Microsoft announced a limited edition Xbox One console, which is called the Project Scorpio Edition. It's pretty much like the regular Xbox One X console. It's just got some different material, and it's got a cool green text of Project Scorpio, both on the controller and on the console itself. Also, they announced that there will be over 100 Xbox One X games enhanced when the console launches, which essentially means that they're going to be running at true or near, 4K. I don't know how many games are actually running at true native 4K on the console. As far as we know, it's only Forza at this stage, so I think in the vast majority of cases, it's going to be an upscale to 4K. So, think of that. Think of that what you will. What else? We got a new dashboard. It's going to be, like, I guess, a slimmed down dashboard with a light mode, which will make everything faster. The UI a little bit faster on my Xbox, on the Xbox One, and my Xbox in particular. It's kind of broken, but it is very slow, so I guess that's going to be appreciated. There's also a new Xbox One S console that's Minecraft themed with 2 Minecraft controllers. One is of a pig, one is of a creeper. It looks pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. And also as well, the important bit, Xbox One X pre-orders are now live, and of course it's coming out, it's releasing on November 7. There's also a bunch of different news that's not as important, but I'll cover it anyways. There's going to be an Xbox One S Shadow of War bundle. Microsoft is also going to be publishing PUBG from here on out on consoles. We don't know whether it's coming to PS4 yet. They're a bit shady and cloudy on that, I guess, but of course the game is going to be coming to Xbox One. The PC version has sold 8 million units, which is just insane. This game is doing so well. And also as well, Microsoft announced the Xbox Game Pass is going to be including ReCore Definitive Edition. And also Sea of Thieves, this is the last piece of news, will feature crossplay between Xbox One and PC players. So, it's a lot of news to digest, and I can understand all of this emphasis on the Xbox One X console. I mean, it is their focus, it is their highlight, and they really need to be focusing on this console and to get it right from the get-go. I guess I have some worries about the console because we also know that recently Crackdown was delayed until 2018, and it was really Crackdown alongside Forza you know, that were their big exclusive games on the Xbox One console when it was releasing. And without Crackdown, it's not cancelled, it's delayed, but without Crackdown, the console seems really light on exclusives. And I know, you know, some of you might not like exclusives, but I guess they're a necessary evil if we're going to adopt this console model in the games industry. And with only Forza, if you're, you know, not really looking for just playing, you know, your third-party AAAs and you're looking at playing exclusive games, then at this stage, you have to say that the PS4 is the way to go. Even though the Xbox One X is, you know, objectively the more powerful console than the PS4 Pro. In terms of console exclusives, PS4 just, you know, outdoes the Xbox One in every single way. And I know that Xbox One X does have backwards compatibility, which is a huge selling feature. I cannot deny that. And the PS Now streaming service does not really compete, both in terms of the, you know, the way the service works because it's streaming, and also as well the games on offer. But in terms of new big AAA console exclusives, Xbox One is struggling, and it's probably going to be a very, very slow burn for the Xbox One X. But that console is pretty expensive. As far as I know, in Australia, it's about $650 Australian. I think it's going to be like $750 in New Zealand for those of you that are Kiwi watching my videos. So it's a tough proposition. And I hope, because competition is always good in the games industry, I really do hope that Microsoft can turn this around and start to get some really big exclusives. I mean, E3 next year for them is going to be, I don't want to say do or die, but it's getting close to that, isn't it? It really is. If they don't announce some really big exclusives, I think at that point we can well and truly say that PS4 has won this console generation. You know, we could probably say that now, and I know this isn't a console war, but they are doing so well in terms of hardware sales. They're usually topping NPD charts. If not, you know, some months there will be the Nintendo Switch outperforming the Xbox One. Sorry, the Nintendo Switch outperforming PS4, and then usually Xbox One is third, but we'll see, you know. Again, competition is good. I hope Microsoft turns it around, but it's going to be a tough ask at this stage. And the second piece of gaming news is Bioshock's 10-year anniversary is today. You know what's interesting? I just said, literally at the start of this video, that this series was meant to be a way for me to cover other gaming news aside from just Bioshock and shit. But I'm covering Bioshock anyways because, come on guys, it's Bioshock's 10-year anniversary. Get into the fucking spirit. This game is phenomenal. I made a video about this game and, of course, the 10-year anniversary today on my channel. You can check that out. It's on my channel now. And I just wanted to rave about this game a little bit more. Bioshock was released on the 21st of August 2007, and today we saw a lot of different pieces of news articles coming out just around Bioshock as a franchise, and of course the biggest one being that 2K announced a new collector's edition for Bioshock on PS4 and Xbox One, and it's called the Bioshock 10th Anniversary Collector's Edition. How unique and original of a name, but it gets to the point, I guess. And this edition comes with Bioshock the Collection, which of course includes Bioshock 1, Bioshock 2, Bioshock Infinite, and all the DLC for each and every one of those games, excluding, of course, the multiplayer mode for Bioshock 2. And it also contains a really cool collectible Big Daddy and Little Sister statue. It's an 11.9-inch statue that's modeled after Bioshock's original box art, and from 2K itself, it features a motorized drill and light-up components, as well as a Big Daddy and Little Sister audio clips from the game. So it's not just kind of a static statue, if you will, or piece of merchandise. It lights up, and it has a motorized drill. That's fucking awesome. And it even has, you know, a talking Big Daddy and Little Sister. I'm so tempted to get this, but it is US $200, so it's probably going to be, I don't know, like $230 Australian, maybe more. And as far as we can see, it's only available at GameStop US and on the 2K store. So, of course, there's going to be international shipping fees if I want to get that. And it's going to be releasing on the November 14th. I apologize for the mistake. But there's also some other pieces of news that are interesting in terms of the future of the Bioshock franchise. I remember a while back, Bioshock, I should say 2K. 2K opened a new Twitter account dedicated for Bioshock. Usually, popular games franchises will have a dedicated Twitter account. Otherwise, you know, for smaller companies and independents, I guess their games are marketed through a general Twitter account for the development studio or the publisher itself. But usually big titles have their own Twitter account and they have their own socials. So at the time, you had a new Twitter account coming out for Bioshock. I'm like, all right, cool. This shows that they're dedicated to the franchise and maybe we'll get something more. And then lo and behold, we got Bioshock the Collection, yeah? Now, 2K has opened an official YouTube channel for Bioshock, and they've released a bunch of different pieces of videos on there. One of which is, I guess, a celebrating of 10 years of Bioshock video, which is a really cool looking back at the franchise. It was just good to reminisce. Again, I've covered how much I love this franchise, and in particular the first Bioshock game. It's one of my favorites of all time. You can see that video I uploaded, rather. I'm mincing my words. I'm using the wrong words here. Get it together, aLone. You can't edit this shit out. But this new YouTube channel, alongside the Twitter account, I don't know if it seems like it's ramping up to something. I've made a video on this in the past where I said that the next studio that's very likely going to be making the next Bioshock game is Hangar 13. They're responsible, of course, for Mafia, and also as well, they have a lot of different developers that used to work at 2K Australia, which of course worked on the original Bioshock, and also Irrational Games and 2K Marin. So they're the likely candidates to make the next Bioshock game, and I guess they need something to move on after Mafia, because all the DLC for that game is done. I know Carrick from ATG said that they're probably moving on to another Mafia game straight after that, but we know that 2K is really high on Bioshock. The CEO of Take-Two, which is the parent company of 2K, has constantly said that Bioshock's a permanent franchise, etc. You all know the gist of it. So with all of this stuff happening, and with this, I guess, such an emphasis and focus from 2K on Bioshock, we've got to see something in the future. I believe it's not coming next year. If we are going to get anything, it's going to be the year after that, because 2K has said that, what did they say? They said that next year they're going to have a big new, AAA game, which presumably is Borderlands 3. I don't think it's going to be Bioshock. It just seems too soon. And I don't think they're having anything on top of that. If they did, they would have said we're going to have 2 big games coming out next year. So presumably it's going to be after 2018, maybe 2019, 2020. We don't know. But the future looks strong for Bioshock. There was a while where we didn't get any news relating to Bioshock, and then we've just got a slew of it with the collection, and now Bioshock's 10-year anniversary. So kudos to Irrational Games, and as they were known at the time, 2K Boston. Thank you so much for creating this awesome franchise, and I really look forward to seeing what 2K offers in terms of a new Bioshock in the future. And the third and last piece of gaming news for today's aLone cast is that Mass Effect will be no longer receiving further updates or single-player content for the game. BioWare made an announcement on Twitter that Mass Effect will be receiving no more single-player updates or additional content or even patches for the game. They said the following, quote, "Our last update 1.10 was the final update for Mass Effect Andromeda. There are no planned future patches for single-player or in-game story content." And this, of course, follows news that developers of BioWare Vancouver will be absorbed into EA Motive Studios. But apparently there is still hope for Mass Effect in the future, as the series director Casey Judson said he still loves the franchise too much to not work on it again in the future. So, as you all would know if you follow me on the Ham Radio podcast, I'm not really a fan of Mass Effect, not because I don't like it, just because I haven't played it. And there's been too many other games to play, for me to get a chance to play Mass Effect. It's something that I will get to eventually, it's definitely on my list. Otherwise, I guess Rachel would kill me. Maybe Maddie too, I don't know. But it is unfortunate to hear this. I know that Andromeda was a very... I don't even know if polarizing was a fair... or is a fair description of that game, because it seemed like more people didn't like that game than people liked it, and polarizing suggests that it was a 50-50 split, although there is a contingent out there on the internet that genuinely do like Mass Effect Andromeda, although I don't think they're, I guess, traditional Mass Effect fans, right? I think fans of Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3 generally don't like Andromeda, whether it was the appalling state of the game at launch with all the glitches and bad facial animations. and just generally, just people didn't really hook onto this game. So it's no surprise, to be honest, that there's going to be no more updates or patches or even single player content for this game moving forward. I don't know what to think of it. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a avid, hardcore Mass Effect fan. And even, you know, let's say that I was that kind of fan and I was trying to give Andromeda a go, even though it might not have been my favorite Mass Effect out there. It could have been my worst Mass Effect out there. Even in that situation, I still feel like shit. Because you're not getting any more updates for this game and no DLC. Apparently, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the story of Andromeda that really lent towards getting DLC and some sort of continuation in terms of the story. So that sucks for fans that were waiting on something potentially. I don't know if there was a season pass or anything for the game. I'm going to assume that there wasn't. But in any event, I'm assuming that fans still wanted to see something for this game. I guess maybe to see it rectified in a sense, but to see more content because they love Mass Effect. They want to see this series continue. But unfortunately, it seems like this is the end for Andromeda. And also as well, it seems like it's the end for the independent operation of BioWare Vancouver, which I guess they're going to be called EA Motive Studios Vancouver Edition or Department, if you will. So I feel bad for the studio and fans of the franchise that wanted more, but hopefully that little tweet from Casey Judson indicates that there is a future for Mass Effect. I'm interested to know some of your thoughts. If you are a fan of Mass Effect, let me know in the comments below what you actually think of this, because it is a bit of a sad piece of news, but I guess that's what it is, and we've got to deal with it. And hopefully Mass Effect gets back onto the level it once was with Mass Effects 1 and 2 and 3 to an extent, but I know their ending is polarizing. That is a polarizing ending. So anyways, that's all on Mass Effect, and that's all the gaming news we have for today. But now the fourth segment, let's move on to fan questions. Each and every time I do this aLone cast, I will get, I guess, 4 to 5 fan questions. They don't have to be gaming related, they can be personal questions as well. So from now on, I will source questions for this segment from YouTube. And on this, you know, the comment section for this video in particular. Last time I asked for questions on Twitter, but from moving forward, if this series continues, mind you, I will source the questions from the comment section. So if you want to ask a question for the next aLone cast, please share them in the comments below, and I will pick about 4 to 5. So the first question comes from Kiddo at ComicNerd2076. He asked an interesting question about YouTube. Will you always be doing YouTube in some form or fashion, or do you think you'll stop in a few years? If you would have asked me this question before all this apocalypse stuff, I'd say I'd be continuing YouTube indefinitely, and I don't know where I'd stop. Because YouTube is something, yes, it's a hobby for me, right? But I am still getting an income from it, right? And I work pretty hard on YouTube on top of my full-time job. But this apocalypse stuff is pretty scary, because if you don't know, YouTube is rolling out a new feature, I guess, where videos are placed with limited ads or no ads if they're deemed unsuitable for advertisers. Even though on my channel personally, I still haven't received this feature, a bunch of other YouTubers in the community have. And a lot of gaming videos are automatically flagged as being unsuitable for advertisers. So this is seriously affecting, I guess, the revenue earned from different videos, and especially gaming videos. So moving forward, it looks like I'm probably going to be making much less money from YouTube, and I never really made much money to begin with. You know, again, first and foremost, it is a passion. But if you're asking in terms of my long-term commitments in terms of YouTube, in the future, I intend to start a family. I intend to marry my girlfriend. I intend to have kids. So as I get less and less spare time, I'm going to have less and less time for YouTube, and I need to find reasons to justify that. And one big reason, again, because I need to support my family, is getting an income. And if I'm getting less and less income from YouTube because of this new advertiser system, then I'm going to be less incentivized to make videos, and maybe that might result in me no longer making videos, because I want to make clear, First and foremost, my hobby is playing video games. That's what I love most. And then second comes doing YouTube videos. I love making YouTube videos. In particular, I'd argue more so, I love streaming on Twitch. But if it eventually gets to the stage where I am not having enough time to actually just play video games, which first and foremost, again, is my predominant hobby, and I'm not making enough money to be able to justify spending all this time doing videos, then there could be a chance that eventually in the future I may stop all but doing YouTube, which would be really sad because I used to have oh wow, that was weird. Plans. I used to have plans maybe to like cutting down my full-time job and I guess taking up YouTube, I guess, I don't know, on a Friday or, you know, maybe 2 or 3 full-time days a week and cutting down on my full-time job. But with this, that's probably not viable. So that's your answer, kiddo. I hope you enjoy that. That was a really weird sound that I made when I tried to pronounce that word. Alright, let's continue. Molly at Good Vibes TTV. Thank you, Molly. She always hosts me and raids my Twitch streams. She's awesome. She asked the following question. Do you think you'll always be playing video games? Undoubtedly, yes. There are periods where I may not play as many video games, but I love playing games and I don't think I'll ever stop, even in my old age. And she also follows up, or do you imagine yourself eventually growing out of them? I don't think I can grow out of them. There are certain things that I have grown out of, like I used to love Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, I guess I could still watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll say I used to love collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and also collecting, I don't know, Beyblades and stuff like that. Those kinds of things and hobbies I did grow out of, but gaming is this kind of ethereal, I don't know, concept where I'll always find something that I like in gaming, because gaming has things that's great for kids, for teens, for young adults, and of course for older adults. There's always something appealing no matter what age you are in the video games industry, so I don't think I'll ever grow out of video games. I guess my interest in terms of the games I play will just change and evolve as I get older. So that's an interesting question. I'd be interested to see in like 20 years time what kinds of video games I'm playing then versus now. I suspect they'll still be very similar, but I'll play less and less kiddie style games, whatever that might be. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what I'll be playing in the future, but I think I'll always be playing video games. Jake V at PressNotSure2505 asks, what motivated you to pursue the career you have currently? Did you always see yourself having this growing up? Of course, he's referring to the fact that I am a lawyer. As a full-time job, I am a full practicing lawyer. I've been admitted into the Supreme Court of a particular state of Australia. I won't mention which one for obvious reasons, but did I always envision myself being a lawyer? Absolutely not. This was a very late decision that I made when I was in about year 12, where I had to pick what courses I did at university. And it wasn't really until year 12 where I said, I'm going to become a lawyer. I want to study law for 5 years and then be admitted as a lawyer. And you needed a very high mark to be able to be, not practice law, but study law in university. You needed something, what's called an ATAR. It's pretty much your score to be able to get into certain university courses. And it's out of 100. And to be able to do law, you needed 96 out of 100, which meant that you are in the top 4% of students in that particular state or territory that you were in. And I got 96.05. So I just scraped into doing law at the particular university that I did it at. But it was a very late decision, and I knew I was going to get that score because we're given estimates. So I just made that decision. I guess the reason why, the motivation behind that, is because my cousin was studying law, my other cousin had a law firm, and I just had conversations with them, and it just sounded interesting, something that I'd like to do, and now I'm doing it as a full-time job, so it's pretty interesting. Although I don't practice law officially, I am admitted as a lawyer, but I deal with mostly policy work in many different areas of law, like contract law and consumer law and things like that. So those are my motivations, and that's, I guess, how I made the decision to practice law. It's not something that I thought of growing up. I think I wanted to be a doctor or some shit like that, but that was way too hard. And the final question from at Rayleigh ES0701, his name is Rasmus ES. He asks, what's the story behind the name Lone Vault Wanderer? Very simple. When I was trying to think of the names for my YouTube channel, I just said, what is my favorite or one of my favorite video games, and what kind of channel name can I kind of create using that video game as an influence or inspiration. And of course, one of my favorite, and I guess the favorite video game of all time for me, is Fallout 3. And of course, in Fallout 3, you have the Lone Wanderer, but I didn't just want to say Lone Wanderer because that wasn't really original, but I thought, hey, Fallout has a lot of vaults, maybe Lone Vault Wanderer. And that's really how I created the name for my YouTube channel, and the rest is history. So, thank you for listening to me to this stage. If you have reached this point in the podcast, please tweet to me, #ALoneCast. I'd be interested to know which of you actually made it to the end. Again, please let me know if you like this series. I'll improve as time goes on. I know I stumbled and stuff like that, but it's hard to not stumble in a video without editing things out. So, thank you so much. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.